Hey guys, this is Anastasia Autumnfire, and this is another video for the 2016 YouTube Pagan Challenge. The subject on this video is how do you speak to non-pagans about paganism? And for me, I really don't bring it up too much around non-pagans. If a non-pagan, like a Joe Schmo off the street, came up to me and asked me, what is your religion, for lack of a better phrase, I don't see it really as a religion, because religion's much more of an organized thing, and I don't need an organization to believe what I believe. But understanding that a lot of people just see religion as faith or spiritual path or what have you, I would answer, my belief is in nature. It's in the world around me, what I can see, what phase of the year we're in, the seasons, things like that. And I would assume at that point they would get that I'm probably a pagan, because that's pretty pagany. Now, I wouldn't go into, even if pressed for it, who my deities are that I work with, what my specific beliefs are on certain things. I would just leave it with, I believe in nature, I worship nature, and I work with it to kind of commune more closely, not only with the universe and the powers that be, which include divinity, but also, my ancestors and the people that have passed before me. I think that's the most detail I would go into. Now, I do have friends that are non-pagans, but know that I'm a pagan, and they will ask me my opinion on certain situations given my belief structure, and I'll go, I'll go through everything if someone gives me the platform to, and I feel comfortable enough. And I think that's really the point for me. When I was a practicing Christian, I really struggled with the idea of witnessing to people. I kind of got turned off at the idea of having to save other people, because I felt like, while that's a very noble venture, and that's why if a Christian ever says, oh, I'll pray for you, oh, you're going to go to hell, don't you know that? I assume that's the spirit they're coming to me at, not in a troll or, ugly, hateful way, but more in a, I'm trying to save you because I care about you, and I don't want you to fall to where my belief structure says you'll fall. But for me, I never felt right with that. It really still upsets me when I'm walking down the street and you have someone preaching to you and trying to force their views upon you. That's how it comes off. I understand that's probably not how it's meant. That's not the intent, but that's how it feels for me. So because when I was a Christian and I was being told this is what I had to do, and it didn't resonate, as a pagan, I'm certainly not going to resonate with telling people that aren't of like mind or don't care, trying to press my views on them. But if someone asks me outright, what is it you believe in regards to X, Y, and Z, and I know them and they know me and we have this friendship and we have this knowledge, even if they're not pagan, I'll go into as much detail as they ask. Just because the people that I have let know I'm pagan are people that I trust with that knowledge, and people that I don't think would judge me or look at me sideways when I start talking about Carnunos or start talking about hell. It's certainly easier discussing my views and my thoughts with fellow pagans, but I find that people that I trust enough to let them know, hey, I am pagan or I am a witch, labeling myself or identifying myself, there's the right word, identifying myself as a pagan is far easier for me than letting people know I am a witch. That is something that I struggle with. Simply because I feel there's 10 times more judgment in that than there is in saying I'm a pagan, because pagan could mean so much. You have Buddhism, you have Hinduism, you have it's just, there's so many branches. Paganism is this huge, huge tree that connects to so many different places, that just saying, well, I'm a pagan, it could mean so many different things. But to identify as, heathen or Wiccan or witch or uh, Hellenic, what have you, when you start getting to the kind of paganism that works with specific kinds of magic, and that I feel has a much more different feel to it. And even to identify, I feel like the word witch in and of itself is just something where instantly, I feel like, because we've been programmed so much to see, the hag with the green face and the pointy hat and the broom, cackling away as she puts spiders and centipedes and things into this big cauldron bubbling of gross things. Because we have this idea of that, it's hard to beat that. It's hard to combat that. Even with friends that I have told I'm pagan, I do have some friends that know that I'm pagan. They don't know I'm a witch. Because that's kind of this whole other energy to take on. And as much as I want to own that and say, yeah, I got this, there's an amount of judgment on the outsider looking in, and there's also a certain amount of self-doubt from the inside looking out. So discussing paganism, I find to be relatively easy to go about. Because it is easy for me to say, I really don't, when it comes to my religion or comes to my spiritual path or what have you, I really connect with nature. I like looking at things with positivity as opposed to negativity. I do believe in, lighting candles to think of someone and to remember someone, working with the people who have been in your family and have died before you is very important to me. You can phrase things a little bit easier to avoid judgment and to avoid possible, I don't want to say persecution because that's a bit dramatic, but you never know. But witch, the minute I say I'm a witch, even in some of my friends that know that I'm pagan, I'm scared to cross that line. And there's very good reason for that. I mean, I have a friend who knows that I'm a witch, and she's very considerate and even gave me an amazing Yule gift of these beautiful quartz point runes. They're just gorgeous. But what she asked a friend of mine and myself to cleanse her home because she was feeling real icky, negative energy kind of starting up. And so we did so, but when we did so, she left. And she's like, I don't want to know. I don't want to know. It's like, are you scared by a cleansing ritual? Because really, that is like the least. Everyone smudges their home. Everyone, I mean, it's a very commonplace thing to do. I don't get it. And because, and that's just one example. Like, that is just an example of what worries me, is the minute you cross the threshold from paganism to witch, there seems to be more judgment and more issues. Now, with that said, I do have another, I do have amazing friends that know that I'm pagan and a witch, and there's no judgment there at all. There's a lot of conversations. There's great, conversations and dialogues that we can have, and just exploring things and seeing how we're the same and seeing how we're different. And I love that. But yeah, I'm starting to ramble on an issue that doesn't probably need that much explanation. So long story short, talking to non-pagans about paganism, I tend to keep it very base. I work with nature. I believe in positivity. I believe in I believe in karma. I believe in sending out good vibes to get back good vibes. And I believe in working with and I believe in honoring the dead, the people who have died in my family and people that have died that have come before me. And then dependent on my connection to that person, my friendship with that person, the things that I'll discuss will become more and more detailed. And I struggle very much with discussing being a witch with most people unless they themselves are witches. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it there. Blessed be.